Danielle Tooley on the Gypsy of Consciousness show, episode number 20. My goodness, we've done 20. That's amazing. I will say that I can't see your comments again today, so I don't know why that does that, but oh well. Maybe if you are on, can you comment so I can see if I am seeing the comments? They've just changed the way that they do this, so I'm not seeing it the same way as I used to, but that's cool. So any day. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about tips for homeschooling so you don't lose your cool. Now, many of you who are parents are at home homeschooling, so it can be a very tricky time for some parents, and some parents are finding it easy because they've got children that are willing to study and do all their things and they're quite organized. And then there's some of us. Hi Simone, how you going? Yay, I can see the comments. The other day I was trying to do it from my computer and they changed things and I couldn't see anything. It's very annoying. So I'm talking about homeschooling today and how to set up so that you don't lose your cool. Now I've got because I've already lost it in going to Bernie's books. I can totally relate. So I've got two children, whether you know that or not. I have two children. I have an 11-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. Now and no one's better than the other. They're both unique and amazing in their own way. My daughter is smashing it. She goes to her room, she does all her work, no problem. She comes out when she's finished. She absolutely loves school. And then I've got my son, on the other hand, that hates school, hates homeschooling, and loves to fight me on every topic, every step of the way. And I have my own work to do as well. And so the other day, I had this massive a list of tasks that I had to get completed in a day. So I'm doing those tasks and I've got this kid who's tantruming, he's yelling, he's doing tears, he's doing everything possible to get out of the tasks that he had to do, to get out of the homeschooling. And the last thing that he actually said to me, so he's doing the anger, he's doing the tears, he's doing all the things. And what the biggest thing that I did was I lowered all my walls and barriers. I didn't make anything that he said significant. And I'm going to teach you an energy pool that I did too to dissipate his anger. So at the end of the day, he tried everything. He tried absolutely every trick in the book. And he got towards the end of the day and he had to do some literacy work. And he started crying. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "I've got so many thoughts in my head." And I'm thinking, oh, he's really creative. He's got all these great ideas for his literacy story. Fabulous. And I said, "That's great, Jay. I'm so excited for you. That's actually a really good thing. You've got all these thoughts." And he goes, "No." He goes, "I can't stop thinking about how I was bullied at the start of the year." And I went, wow. I'm like, dude, you are good. You are good. And this is how kids use manipulation to pull you in and make you buy their story and align and agree with you. And I wasn't having any of it. So I said, okay, I totally get that. If you'd like to see someone and talk to someone about it, we can do that. Now, in the meantime, can we get back to your literacy? He's like, okay. Because one, I was allowing him to be heard. And two, I was not letting him use that as a story to not, choose finishing this particular thing that he had to do for school. So how do you lower your walls and barriers? And how do you pull energy to dissipate the anger that the children are projecting at you? So what you do is don't make everything that they're saying an interesting point of view. So you drop all your barriers and drop them super fast. Then if they're projecting anger at you, you want to pull energy through every pore of your body, from them through you, until their walls and barriers come down. And so they've got nothing to fight. So that's one tool that I use. And then if their projections or the things, their behaviors and things like that are affecting you, you want to say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view about the thing that they're saying. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view about the thing that they're saying. And just keep repeating that to yourself until you find a space of calm. Now, I will say some other things. It's really important. So some of the things that I've set up in place for my kids is I take regular breaks. So I'm not hammering them out from morning till they've finished. If I can see that they start to get restless, I go, okay, let's go jump on the trampoline. So they'll go jump on the trampoline for 10 minutes. If I can see them getting restless, I'll say things like, go and ride your bike around the block for, 5 minutes and then come back and then we'll complete that task. And then I'll set up the days differently. So if they've been doing lots of maths in the afternoon, like yesterday, I changed it around. I said, okay, today we're going to do maths in the morning. Did that make much of a difference to my son? Not really. He still wanted to kill me. That's, if anyone saw my video, that's not far from the truth. He really hates me when we're homeschooling, and sometimes I hate him. So taking regular breaks. The other thing that I've noticed too, if I'm starting to see them getting irritable and if they're having to use some brain power, like my kids, they do access, so they follow their knowing more than probably a lot of other children or a lot of other people on the planet. However, I'm also aware that they still need certain things for their bodies. So I'll ask them, hey, I'm noticing you're getting a bit cranky while we're doing this particular maths task. Does your body need sugar, salt, or water, right? Or energy for that matter. So I ask them those things and I say, okay, cool, let's go. So the other day I said, let's go and we'll go to the pantry and I'm going to pick a few things. So I picked out chocolates. So I didn't have a point of view about where he was going to get the sugar from. So I picked out chocolates. In fact, they were Maltesers. The second thing I picked was some potato chips. Again, no point of view about where the salt was coming from. And then he was already drinking water, so that was cool. We covered that. And then I said, okay, so ask your body, what would you like to eat? Does your body require the sugar or does the body require the salt from the chips? And the way we do this is we stand up, or you can be sitting down, but it's better to stand up just to get your body's indication. And you can ask your body, hey, body, show me a yes. And mine naturally moves forward. And then you can say, hey, body, show me a no. And for a no, for me, mine moves backwards. And if I can say, body, show me, to ask another question, because sometimes you're kind of halfway there and you need a bit more information. I say, body, show me what ask me another question would be, and mine sways side to side. So we did this. I put the sugar in front of him, the Maltesers, and he was kind of swaying. And I said, okay, and we got a no on the chips. And I said, okay, so does your body need sugar of some kind? But it wasn't actually from the Maltesers. So I then went to the fridge and I said, hey, does your body require the apple? And we got a yes on that. So he ate the apple and we sat down and then we did our maths tasks. And it did make more of a difference, because sometimes if you're tired and if you're feeling just sometimes your body needs sugar, salt, water, or energy. Now, how do you get energy? You literally, just like I showed you that energy pull when you're pulling from someone who's projecting anger at you, you pull energy from all of the things, all over the planet, all of the trees, from inanimate objects, from animate objects, from everything around you, from the people around you, and you pull it through every pore of your body. Now, what this will do is it will wake the people up that you are in the room with, and it will also wake your body up. So it's one way of getting out of tired. Because when we're having to use our brains a lot, brain power, when you're thinking, when you're doing schoolwork, and especially when you've got humanoid children and X-Men children, particularly my son, who keeps telling me he's ADD, he's sure of it. He keeps saying to me, Mummy, you need to Google it. I've got it, he's saying to me. And definitely, yes, he's an X-Men, but he also has amazing capacities. And so if you have children like that, then you're going to need to adapt in a different way. They don't do school like other children do. They just don't do it like other children. And you can start to teach them how to trust their knowing, tap into their knowing, and not use their brain so much. What do they know the answer is? I mean, they have to work it out for school, because often school says, hey, you need to figure out how you got to that answer. But often, because they have these capacities, they're telepathic. They know the answer. They just know it. They don't know how they got there. So it's actually harder for them to go back through the formulas. So just knowing that should give you some space to see where your children are different and need to be homeschooled in a different way. What else do I do? Um, I'm actually super organized when I set them up. Like we always start at 9 o'clock. So we get out of our pajamas, we start at 9 o'clock, but I'm also ready for chaos. So if things aren't working, if the particular task that we're doing is taking more than a longer time than normal, I get them to move around. I also say to them, um, if we get this done, we can actually finish earlier for the day, which means that we can go walking or we can ride to Chadstone or we can ride to the park or whatever you want to do. And so you're giving them, if this, then we get this. So you're rewarding them. And also it's really important to reward their efforts. So even if they haven't completed a task, you want to reward their efforts along the way. Hey, you're doing a really good job there. Wow, you got that math summary super fast then. Did you see how fast you were? And just rewarding and seeing and pulling out where they're actually making an effort throughout their task. We so easily forget to reward the efforts along the way that we always go to the end goal, which is, I will reward you at the end. But sometimes people need that motivation, and it's nice to get that motivation along the way. And I find that really works for my kids too. And I also break up the day too. I went, okay, cool. Can you now go and cook me something? Go bake me a cake. Go. And then they're getting in the kitchen and they're getting to be creative and not focusing so much on that schoolwork. But then they're also doing something that's fun for them. We had a great day yesterday because one of his PE tasks, which didn't need to be in till the end of the week, was to pick a sport and then do 6 exercises that related to that sport. So we rode to Chadstone, and on the way we did squats and we did what is it called? Star jumps, and we ran up the top of a ladder and ran back down, and it wasn't a requirement to video the whole thing, but apparently I love videos. So I videoed the whole thing, and then we edited it together in iMovie, and we put some really cool music in the background. So it was something that he could be really proud of, and that was what he submitted to his teacher. So really looking at shaking things up, making things different, making them fun, because let's face it, it's like, it's not the easiest thing in the world to, homeschool and do your own work too, and run a household and run a business and, and be a mom and make sure all the things are, aligned for everyone. So, yeah, you don't have to conform. You don't have to have it a specific way. You just have to be ready to create chaos with whatever your day is. So, and also, like, obviously in my situation, I've got 2 kids that have very, 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 very different needs. So one requires way more of my attention, and obviously I'm working in those same hours. So I make sure I divide my attention between my work and his work, and I let him know too, hey, mummy's got to do this task right now. It's really important that I get this through, and then I'm going to be with you. Right. So you're managing, it's like a bit like managing your employees. So you're managing between your things, and then not making them wrong, and, and not getting frustrated. It takes a lot of energy to be frustrated, to be angry, to make them wrong, to make you wrong. Give yourself a break. Not all of us were born to be teachers or to be sitting at home with our kids and homeschooling. And you just got to do it in the best way that you know how, I guess. And yeah, I think that was it, really. They were my main, really, and then my other thing was for siblings. So if you've got 2 children in the house and they're tending to bicker, then what I would highly recommend is that you put them in 2 separate rooms. So my kids, if they're in each other's space way, 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 way too much, they start to bicker. So I have my daughter in her bedroom, which she likes being in there. She's got a little desk and she has her window blind right up, so she's got the sunlight and the view outside streaming in her room, and she works really, really well that way. And it's better for us to separate them because they do tend to get distracted by each other, and be yeah, they can tend to bicker a bit too. And also just being aware of other distractions. Like, do your kids like having music in the background while they're working? Do your kids work better if they're got something to fidget with at the same time? Or do your kids work better with complete silence? Now, I know I work really well with complete silence. I love it. But not all kids function like that, especially when you've got your X-Men children as well. They may need some other stimulation going on in the background to be out of focus and function and focus on their tasks. So just being aware of that too. You might have the point of view that, it's not a good thing to have all those distractions going on, but for X-Men and for humanoid children, a lot of the time that actually is beneficial for them. So play with it and see what works every day. See if, like I was saying, I had to do maths yesterday morning, but the day before we chose to do it last. Like, mix up your day and see which one's going to work the best, and every day is going to be different, let's face it. So just to recap, energy pulls. So pulling energy, if they're doing anger, and if they're doing needy, you can flow them energy. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. So if your kid's being a little shit, interesting point of view, I have this point of view that my kid's being a little shit right now. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view that my kid's being a little shit right now. Lower your walls and barriers. Don't make anything significant. Be organized, be ready for chaos. So you want to be organized, but you want to be ready for chaos too. So change the measures up. You want to take regular breaks. Ask their body if their bodies need sugar, salt, water, or energy, if they're starting to deflate and get a bit or they're getting a bit irritable. You might want to read those signals and teach them the forward and back exercise so that they can start getting in tune with their body. You want to separate children if they're bickering, and manage your time between your kids. Like, let them know, hey, mommy's got to do this now, so then I'll be with you in a minute. And maybe you can go on to another task in the meantime. Make sure you reward efforts along the way. So not just rewarding the end game, but rewarding all the things that they're creating and being along the way. Like, good job. Yes, you got that maths task. That's awesome. And I love that sentence that you wrote in there. I can't wait to see the finished product. And let them know that they have something to look forward to at the end of the day. So, hey, we're going to go on a bike ride, or hey, we're going to go for a massive walk after this, or whatever is fun for them. Might be a game for them to play. Your kids, they're all very different. So whatever is exciting for them, that can be their reward for finishing all their tasks. So that's my parenting point of view of tips to homeschool and not lose your cool. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat box. I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week for my next topic, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye.